And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that break. We just wrapped up with herO versus Solar, and now we have returned with something very different, with a PvT between herO and Clem. Oh, let's go. I am ready for it, and here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our red Terran player representing Team Liquid. It is our reigning DreamHack Atlanta ESL Masters Winter Champion. It is Clem. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player representing KranKy Z Gaming. It is herO. And I have been anticipating this for quite some time because both these players, they were both at ESL Masters Winter, they were both at DreamHack Atlanta, but herO had gone there through the open bracket. He was trying to work his way through the open bracket. He did get through the open bracket into the knockout bracket as well, and in the knockout bracket, herO actually was the player that eliminated Maru. herO eliminated Maru from ESL Masters Winter, and unfortunately, herO wasn't able to make it out of the knockout bracket. It was a brutal bracket, and he did not make it out. Did take down Maru in the process, but wasn't able to go any further. As a result, herO versus Clem never happened. They never played in DreamHack Atlanta. It just was not a thing, and now they can. Now they will. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. Can the Maru Slayer also keep up with Clem as well? I want to believe he can. It's a shame this is just a best of 3, not a best of 5. I would love more of a back and forth between these two, but I guess for now we'll have to, you know, enjoy what we have here and enjoy our best of 3 while we can. Casino for us degenerates. Oh, next series. Next series, Bobby. Next series. Yeah. This would be a good map. This would be a good match for the casino. Not wrong. You know what? Okay, I'll try and get it going. I'll do my best. As we're getting into openers, we do have an economic opener here from our Terran player. Interesting, it was a single gas opener, and because of the eBay block, the attempted eBay block, we are going factory before CC, so a much more aggressive variation. With this, we can get into earlier Helium production. No, we're going for a Cyclone instead. Oh my, getting into earlier Cyclones here, building up our force, delaying the CC by quite some time here, and we'll see if Clem can make this worth it. Meanwhile, herO going to be going for a Stargate opener back at home. Stargate on the low ground at the natural. Interesting location. Very interesting. Meanwhile, if you're in the chat, I will open up predictions soon, but they will be closing very soon as well, so you don't have a lot of time. Not much time here. What is this, the round of 16? I think so. Round of 16, best of 3. We got Clem. We got herO. Okay. You have 1 minute. 1 minute to place your bet. So best of luck. Best of luck, as here we go. The Marines and the Cyclone, they have arrived. Ooh, no shield battery on the low ground. Clem, he may just snowball out of control. Without a shield battery, herO, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. One adept does go down. We're going to be able to focus on a second adept as well, and the third. Phoenix is on the way, but it may just be too little too late. The boys, they have to be pulled. And so far, this opener from Clem has been worth it. We do pick up one of the Cyclones. Cyclone is lifted. The boys are putting in a lot of work. Again, these are vanilla Marines. They don't have stim, they don't have combat shields, but that Cyclone is still alive. It's still up and running. We do chase down these Marines at least. But the Phoenix is under threat here, and it will not escape. Big pick-off. Massive pick-off there from Clem. And it looks like this may just be too much. 5 workers go down and counting. We have a second Phoenix, but we needed the other to actually DPS down that Cyclone. The Cyclone is still standing strong. And it's snowballing out of control. We get on top of the shield battery. We do pick up the Widow Mine at least. The boys. Ooh. Widow Mine, it does burn. Second Widow Mine bows. It goes off. It takes down the Phoenix. And again, we just have so little to defend, so little production as well. This one Cyclone has been the MVP. And again, Clem prioritizing that Cyclone may have just done it for him. He's taking a worker lead. Shield battery does finish. Immortal comes out, and finally, herO holds. But not before losing 13 probes. And that Cyclone is still alive. Finally, it goes down. Did I say 13? I meant to say 16, as Clem squeezes out as much value as he can here from those Marines. Again, he needs to get this damage done. He did delay his expansion in favor of this attack, of this build, of this opener, and it was worth it. More than worth it here. As a result, Clem, he's far ahead in the economy. herO is pretty all in. He's only on 2 gateways, so he can only warp in 2 units at a time. And herO, he knows that the pressure is on. Now, again, herO, he has a lot of control on his side. Like, he has some of the best micro out there when it comes to Protoss players, or even in general. Can he somehow out-control Clem here back at home with these handful of units? Look at the units tab here. We have 5 Stalkers, 1 Immortal. The Liberator rocks up. If this Liberator wasn't here, then maybe we could break the natural, but we have to pivot away. We rotate into the main base instead. Elevator, everything in. The boys are being pulled. The Liberator does reposition. And herO, barely does keep every unit alive. Very nice control here out of herO. Warping in another wave of Stalkers, but these Stalkers are so very low. He may have saved them all. But again, they are so fragile. So vulnerable. That Liberator once again just continuing to zone him away. herO does get a couple more Marines. Oh, a Stalker, 2 Stalkers go down, a 3rd Stalker as well. The control is slipping, the Prism, it's under threat, and we may just lose everything. The Immortal goes down, the Prism as well. And herO had to do so much more. GG gets called. Clem will take game number 1. Whew. GG. Again, the opener of Clem just got out of control for him to go for that initial Cyclone with the Marine push, and he just so happened to be going up against a Stargate opener. Specifically because of the Stargate opener, the Phoenixes were less than ideal in that position. Phoenixes, a lot of their power comes in when you get a flock of them, right? When you have multiple Phoenixes. But if you remember, herO only ever had 1. He only ever had 1 at a time. We had really good target firing and prioritization of shutting down the Phoenixes by Clem. He never really allowed too many of them to accumulate. Because of that, that's why he was able to just snowball out of control. Basically, the opener and the tech of choice of herO was working against him there. If he had invested into a Robo or a Twilight Council, then he would have had more to work with on the ground, more in general. Alas, that Stargate opener was punished, and with that, Clem does take the first game. But this was also a game that was dictated by the early game. Like, the reality is that this game was determined by the opener of Clem. The fact that, you know, the eBay block, maybe even that was a part of forcing out the Stargate opener as well. And it all kind of led into Clem getting too much damage here in the early game. But now we're settling into game 2. And I'm hoping we can get a back and forth. I'm hoping that we can get a much more stable early game leading into the mid game. But a lot of this is dictated on how herO approaches this. You know, herO, he's kind of on the edge here. He's up against the wall. He has to fight back. He himself may be tempted to go for aggression himself. I'm sure he would. Let's go. Game 2, Solaris. Game 2 is going to be here on Solaris. Let's go. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Solaris, we have our French Terran player, the ESL Masters Winter champion, representing Team Liquid, leading the series 1-0. It is Clem. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss, representing KranKy Z Gaming, looking to tie this series up 1-1. It is herO. Go. And on a large map like Solaris, it would make a lot more sense to go for a Stargate opener here. This is, I should also emphasize as well, that a big reason as to how and why Clem was able to snowball out of control in that first game was also the map itself. That was on Oceanborn. The rush distance by ground is very short, so reinforcing with those Marines and reinforcing with the Cyclones, it takes that many less seconds for them to get across the map, and every second counts in StarCraft. So as a result, I don't expect to see the same opener here on Solaris. Likewise, because we're on a larger map, a Stargate opener would make more sense. It would be safer here for herO as well. Meanwhile, SV's coming in, and we are looking to eBay block once again. We saw this in Game 1. We've seen this very often nowadays. This has very quickly become a part of the standard or the meta. eBay blocks have always been a thing, but I would say over the past month, maybe over the past 2 months, ever since the new patch, this has been very common. The reason for this is the new Cyclone. Because of the new, as we're going for a factory before CC again, because of the new Cyclone, Terran have a lot more aggressive options in the early game. And forcing the unnatural natural like this is perfect for Clem. So Clem is going to be looking to abuse the fact that these bases are spread out with factory production. Is going for the reactor. I believe he should be going for an add-on swap here to go Hellion and Cyclone. Ideally you have a mixture of the two. You have Cyclones to deal with the gateway units, you have Hellions to deal with the probes. And you can do a couple of different things. You can try to come together and push towards the natural at the same time, or you can split up your units. So you can have your Hellions into the main and then your Cyclones towards the natural, or vice versa, and try to pull apart your opponent. There's that add-on swap. Behind this, it is going to be a CC, so it's not an all-in, but again, this is a very aggressive opener out of Clem, and it is designed to, again, abuse the fact that herO is so spread out. And there it is, they're the Hellions. I'm assuming we're going to go double Hellion and then double Cyclone afterwards, but we'll see. We'll see how Clem does pieces all together. He could just double down on Hellions, and he can go up to like 4 or even 6 Hellions, and then just dive into a mineral line. But I love this from herO. herO, what's happening right now is not unseen, like being forced to take another base and having to deal with like Hellions and Cyclones. This is very commonplace, So herO's adapting and he's walling on. He's getting a wall ready here on the high ground in the main base to adapt to how vulnerable he is. Meanwhile, behind this, we do have a 1-1-1 follow-up. We are continuing Hellion production for now. We're getting up to 4 Hellions. Do we go up to 6 or do we begin Cyclones? For now, there we go. 4 Hellions moving out. Cyclones are on the way. Hellions have been spotted, have been confirmed. And herO, again, he's walling on. It is so very important that you are able to wall off and get the wall up and running in time to protect your main base. Otherwise, like, you just don't have enough to defend both locations at once. The Hellions, they ignore the Stalkers. They just go straight for the mineral line. The probes! Oh my god, they line up for him. It takes 3 shots to one-shot a probe. 3 probes go down. Could have been a lot worse, as herO does force this back. He killed 1 Hellion, but we're not done. Behind this, Cyclone production is continuing. Medevac is on the way. We're looking to reinforce these Hellions with Cyclones, and we're going to be pushing. So again, Clem is going to continue that aggression. Another Hellion is going to get picked up. Oof. So we're down to only 2 Hellions. This is really important. I mentioned before that's kind of the amount of Hellions you want is 3, because 3 Hellions do one-shot a probe. So that one-shot potential isn't there anymore. But we're reinforcing with those Cyclones, with Marines, and we are pushing. Now we have a shield battery, we have an overcharge ready here at the natural. Hellions are going to check the wall, but it is looking solid. We do get 1 Phoenix. Just barely don't. Good pickups here from herO. Ooh, he shuts down both of those Cyclones. Oh my god. herO going to be shutting this down, but no! Does overextend. 1 Phoenix does fall. Second Phoenix as well. He gets 1 more Cyclone. But he bleeds out so many Phoenixes. Again, it was a Stargate opener. As you mentioned, it makes a lot more sense to go Stargate here on Solaris. And we do have a back and forth. Again, it's been 3 Cyclones for 3 Phoenixes, trading 1 for 1. But the medevac went down as well. And Clem, he wanted to be aggressive, he wanted to be assertive, but he's stuck at home. Does take down the Stalker, trades a Stalker for a Cyclone. Good control here from herO. He pulls back. Oh, does lose another Phoenix. These trades have been brutal for the Protoss. Again, ideally you want to build up that Phoenix count, have enough to really threaten your opponent, but we've been losing too many of them. Likewise, Cyclones being focused down. Good juggling here from Clem. Does save the Cyclones, does avoid those shots, and it looks like Clem, he will shut this down. Very nice control here, juggling the Cyclones, the Vikings, keeping everything barely alive. And now herO's in a bit of trouble here. Remember, because he lost so many Phoenixes, there's that much less to threaten drops, that much less map control. Behind this, he's transitioning into Gateways, Forge, as well as the Twilight Council, but he's still working on that tech. As the dust does settle, I do want to favor Clem at the moment. Basically, both players are even in workers for the most part, so Clem is ahead, he has mules. Alongside that, the lack of Phoenixes is really hurting herO. His opener kept him alive, but it's not really giving him much else. You can see here that, again, we even have to respect these 2 Cyclones, otherwise the Phoenixes will die. They're already getting a lot of damage done. Meanwhile, herO is transitioning out of this into +1 blink stalkers. The era of the Phoenix has come and gone, but in saying that, the Phoenixes still usually have a lot of value here just to contain the opponent, just to pick off SCVs, pick off units here and there. This is something that is no longer available for herO. So Clem is looking solid here. Behind this, he's going for a third TC. He's setting up on 3-1-1. Pretty standard setup here on 2 bases, soon to be 3. We are still lacking a couple of extra Raxes, but there we go. 4th and 5th Rax on the way. So very solid production here for the economy that we're about to have. The army is a little bit disjointed, but again, very defensive. Like, with all these Vikings and Cyclones, like, we can keep up with the Phoenixes and we can shut down any aggression. We have eyes on where the Phoenixes are, and we're going for a drop across the map. And again, this drop, or even thinking about going for this drop, would not be available here if herO had more Phoenixes. Like, again, that map control has been stripped away. Thankfully, herO, he is in position. He has the Stalkers. He doesn't have Blink yet. Oh, but we do shut this down. Very nicely done here by herO. Oh, he does lose 2 Stalkers in the process. A little bit less than ideal, and he is out of position. Clem coming in from the right-hand side. Does threaten that mineral line. We do have a big warp into Stalkers. We have the overcharge as well. Clem has to respect this. He has to back up. But he killed 5 workers. And what did he lose? He lost the drop. Yes, he lost 1 Hellion with this army. But that's really it. So a good trade for Clem. At least making up for his loss of that drop. Meanwhile, herO's going for a big counterattack in between the bases. Clem, it's going to be his turn to be out of position. The Medivacs! We get 1. We get 2 Medivacs. Big pickoffs here from herO. We have force fields. Sentries have arrived. We do force field the ramp to stifle the army here of Clem. Good moves out of herO. Very necessary moves out of him. He does, for the most part, dodge the Widow Mine. Oh, but yeah, the blink is on cooldown. 2 mine shots go off. This is a fight that herO cannot take. And he has to retreat. He had some good moments. He was able to pick up a lot of those medevacs, but he's still bleeding out quite a lot of Stalkers. Yeah, he has to retreat. Again, just like Phoenixes, Stalkers, you ideally want to build them up over time. And how many Stalkers went down? 9. 9 Stalkers died in that trade. herO is pushing up the ramp once again. Picks up a Cyclone without losing anything yet, as he does barely avoid the army of Clem. Going to be reinforcing here with this pylon. We have more Stalkers on the way. Once again, herO blinking back, not losing anything. But as the armies are about to engage, we're going for a mine drop towards that 3rd. Okay, herO trying to keep the pressure on, trying to keep the attention of Clem back at home. And again, Clem, he doesn't have any tanks. He only has a handful of Widow Mines. Reason for this, they're across the map. Hopefully herO, he can react in time. As now he wants to try to break this position, continuing to reinforce. Ooh, mine does go off at the same time the drop comes in. Widow Mine drop into that 3rd base, and we have a delayed reaction. Ooh, big connections. 9 probes go down. And we still get 1 more Widow Mine into the natural as well. And herO doesn't notice. Ooh, 14 workers go down. herO is being pulled apart. His economy is in shambles. He's losing Stalkers as well. And at this point, he's committed. He's, at this point, pretty all in. He has to break this mineral line. If he can get into the mineral line and kill some SCVs, then he can make this worth his while. Catches some marauders. Good moments. Meanwhile, the Widow Mines, they're resetting. Widow Mines did reset. We're going to Doom drop into the main base. We're going for a pseudo base trade. Big mine shots, though. Clem, he gets into the main base. herO trying to break into the natural as well. Zealots, they get into the mineral line. Damage is being done. The production of herO is under threat, and he does not make it into the main. Has to rotate over towards that 3rd base instead. And meanwhile, herO is losing too much. Probes are going down. He's also getting SCVs as well, to be fair. But only Stalkers are running out of Zealots, and here comes the army of Clem. If herO was able to deal this damage without losing anything at home, then he could maybe be still in this, but alas, this drop, it's just getting out of hand. Far too out of hand at this point. We have reinforcements coming in. We have a lot of sentries. The EMP! The EMP on the sentries. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, we're going to be able to reinforce. We unload on the other side of the wall. GG gets called, and Clem will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played here. Clem does take the series, does eliminate herO from KungFu Cup. Ooh. And we got some places to be. As I quickly switch over region. Sorry, I just want to make sure I don't miss the lobby. Just want to make sure. But GG, well played. Congratulations to Clem for taking the series. My condolences to herO here, as again he was pulled apart. Game 1 was brutal. Game 1 did come down to, it felt like it came down to the openers. It felt like it did come down to the openers working against herO there. And of course, Clem snowballing out of control with his initial cyclone push in Game 1. Here in Game 2, it was a little bit different. It was, yeah, an interesting opener. Initially, herO did defend against the Hellions well, is what I will say. He did defend against the Hellions well. Unfortunately, I was putting a lot of emphasis on it, and part of me feels like maybe I brought it up a little bit too often, but for good reason, and that is like the fact that herO was, despite going for a Stargate opener, despite going into Phoenixes, he was bleeding out so many units here in the early game, trading with the Cyclones, and it was just better trades for Clem, worse trades for herO, and it allowed for so much more maneuverability and so much more harassment from Clem. Because herO didn't have his Stalker Force and his Phoenix Force to defend his main and his third at the same time, he could only pick one. herO was pulled apart. Again, bleeding out all those units early on, eventually snowballed out of control in favor of Clem. GG. The 109 drop didn't help either, losing all those pros, but by that point, again, he was losing so many workers because of the lack of map control, because of earlier on. Like, it all just kind of added on top of each other there. The dominoes were falling one after the other in favor of Clem, and yeah, really well done. Really well done there in the end. As we are going to be getting ready here for our next series, !B in the chat if you guys wish to have a look at the bracket yourselves. And